Welcome back to the Late Night Gamer, and we are continuing with Labyrinth, the War on Terror. So just one small thing, when the world goes soft, we also flip this counter so that we can easily remember that it's a soft posture. So now we deal out the cards. It's still 9 for the jihadist player and 8 for the US player. So let's restart and see what's happening. Hizb ut Tahrir. That was very difficult to pronounce. Ostensibly non-violent Islamism. That sounds good. Non-violent. If troops are in overstretch, they are not. Then they will get 2+ funding for the jihadists. And if the troops is at low intensity, it's -2 funding. It's neither. You can see here that the troops are in the war box, not in overstretch, nor in the low intensity. So that makes this a non-playable event. Just a quick reminder, playable non-use event. It's not. Is this a playable use event? No. So they will look for major jihad, and that's not possible. Minor jihad in good fair countries is not possible. There are 2 cells available, they will do recruit. So the first off, they will check the regime change country to see if there are 5 more troops than cells. They are not. And in Islamist rule with cells less than 2 times ops, well, normally that will be a good option, I think, for them, but the 2 times ops is only 2 and there are 4 cells there, so they will skip that. Then they go for the highest possible success roll, first within a besieged regime. And we're only going to do that once, so that's in Sudan. So highest possible success roll within a besieged regime. And they're only recruiting once, and they failed. And the first card wasn't so bad. Let's see for the next. Libyan weapons of mass destruction. It's a US event. Let's check if it's playable. It is playable if Libya is adversary and US is hard, and there is no Libyan deal. Yeah, we can see that Libya is indeed an adversary, and US do have a hard posture, and there are no Libyan deal on the table, so that means that this is playable. So a playable US event will lead to plot, and they will plot with 3. It's not possible to plot in the US, prestige is not low. This event is not happening, then they will plot in countries with troops. Just a quick note, there's also plot priorities. So for countries with troops, we plot first in fair, then good, and poor countries. So because they plot with 3, there is only 1 cell. There is 1 cell active already, and they will activate 2 other cells. And on 3 or less, they will succeed. They managed to place 2 plots in Afghanistan. So I just randomly assign plots. Plot number 1 and plot number 3. These 2 plots are placed in Afghanistan. Well, my plan here as the US player was to do as much as possible to increase the prestige so that I can get a good as possible role when I try to change the governance level of the countries. But now I need to take care of those plots, because if the plot goes off in a country with troops, I will lose prestige. And I need to take care of the plots right away, because after the US action phase, after the second card of the US action phase, the plots will resolve. In order to resolve a plot, of course, I need a 3 value card or 3 operations. I have this one, hijab, and that just simply removes one of these plots. And the other 3 value card I have is this enhanced measures, and these are quite good events which I'm forfeiting. Yeah, so I blocked both plots, and that is my turn, sadly. Back to the jihadist player. Backlash is a US event. Play if you can select a plot in a Muslim country. I cannot, so this is not playable. Non-playable US event they will look for jihad. First major jihad, still not possible. And a minor jihad in a good fair country, that's also not possible. And there are cells available, so that will lead to a recruit. And again, when we do the calculations, we will end up in Sudan, a besieged regime. They will recruit once in Sudan, so let's see. That's a 4, that's a failure. The second card. Another US event, Al-Azhar, Bastion of Islamic Moderation. It says that we should test Egypt and put -2 on funding or -4 on funding if no country is under Islamist rule. So this is a playable US event. And with a playable US event, the jihadist player will plot. And he will plot twice, and it is going to be Afghanistan again. So if they manage to roll a 3 or lower on the dice, they will succeed. Oh, no successes. Fantastic. No, I am quite lucky actually. And that's the jihadist player phase. Then I can resume with my plan. But my plan is to disrupt, and I need a 3 value card to disrupt in Afghanistan because it has poor governance level. I can also check if I have any good events. I have a fantastic event card. I'm playing that immediately. It's Ethiopia strikes. Play if Somalia or Sudan is under Islamist rule, set it to poor neutral. That's just awesome. I'm playing that immediately. So instead of being under Islamist rule, now it is poor neutral, and the resources that they have is going away. Doesn't change the track in any other way, but they only have 4 cells here, so they can't even do a major jihad there. It's great. And also playing Tony Blair, that's also an event I would like to try. It says that set United Kingdom's posture to that of the US. So United Kingdom switches to hard, putting the world on hard 1 again. And that's really helpful for War of Ideas because now there's no penalty. The posture of the world is the same as the US. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. This event also continues with roll War of Ideas in up to 3 Schengen countries. And then we remove the card from play. Take it out of the discard pile. War of Ideas. So when I do that and the outcome is the same as then I get +1 prestige, but it's pretty hard to get hard posture. I do need a 5 or 6. So I can do that in up to 3 Schengen countries. And I am testing Eastern Europe because that is soft. So let's see. Ah, yay! I got a 5. That's excellent. Now I could risk it and try another one. Yeah, it's quite tempting, but it's a very high likelihood that it's going to be soft, so I'm stopping there. I'm not doing it. So that's it. So the outcome here was the same as the US, so that should mean that I get 1 prestige. Up to 6 prestige. Just 1 more and I will get +1 on War of Ideas. So let's see. Now it looks much better, so let's see if the jihadist player can mess this up. Ansar al-Islam is only a 1 value card, but there's an event. Play if Iraq's governance is worse than good. Iraq's governance is poor. And then I can place a cell in Iraq or Iran. So the chart says that for Ansar al-Islam, we do it random among possibilities. That means rolling the die. On a 1 to 3, it's going to be Iraq. And it is. The cell is placed in Iraq. Iraq. Now the axis of evil comes into play. Okay, so then we need also to remove the Ansar al-Islam. So it goes out of the discard pile. Axis of evil. It's a 3 value Islamist event. It says that US discards any Iran, Hezbollah or Jaish al-Mahdi cards. I don't have any. US posture to hard. Okay, I'm already at hard. Then I rolled for prestige. So the prestige roll is modified if there is a penalty, but there are no penalty now because you have the same view as the world. On a 1 to 4 the prestige drops. It drops how much? With the lowest value. Oh man, would you believe that? It drops by 3. Oh! That puts me in the low area here and a -1 on WoT. Okay, so they did not give up for sure. They really hurt my prestige this round. So what can I do? Well, for my first card I'm playing this for the value and I'm saving it. So I put them in the reserves. Because my second card will be this, Special Forces. And 1 value. Playing for the operations. Using the reserves immediately again. And disrupting in Afghanistan. So I remove 2 cells from Afghanistan. It gains me 1 prestige. Okay. NATO. That's a US event. I wish I had that card. Hi. Play if there is 0 penalty and a country has a regime change. So this is a playable event. Because playable US event says that they will place a plot. Or in this case they will try to place 3 plots. Prestige is medium, so I mean US is not possible to plot in. The prestige is not low, it was, so then it will skip this, but I just restored it, so it is still in countries with troops, and countries with troops are still Afghanistan. So they go active with those 2 cells. They have 3 actives, and they will roll. Oops. So that's 1 success, and okay, plot number 6 is being put in Afghanistan. Let's see, they have 1 more card. FREs, former regime elements go guerrilla. Oh no, play if there are troops in Iraq. It's not. Non-playable events, they look for jihad possibilities. First major jihad, no, they need 5 cells. Okay, so it's almost possible in Somalia. I need to be careful of that. I should try to remove 1 more cell from Somalia. Okay, and there is no good for countries with troops. No, and that means that they will try to recruit. And where will they recruit? Well, it changed a little bit now. Let's see. In Afghanistan, this value here is 3. In Islamist, there is no Islamist rule country. Okay, highest recruit success rate, so that must be in a poor country. First, besieged regimes, then most surplus troops. Afghanistan is a besieged regime, so they will try to recruit in Afghanistan. They failed, they got a 6. Now I can play my last 2 cards. So I have 2 cards in my hand, and one has this nasty event where I need to test Lebanon and shift Syria to adversary and worsen its governance level by 1. Syria is one of the fair countries, so I do not want to worsen that. That's not good, so what can I do? Well, I can play this card for a 2 operation value, because this event is not relevant. So what can I do with 2 operations? Well, I can try to change the governance level in a fair country. So let's try to do that. Let's try to change the Gulf states. So I can target a neutral or an ally Muslim country. I cannot target an adversary country. And I roll on WoT's table. But there is, of course, a table here which we need to take into considerations. I need to have 5 or 6 to succeed, but there's modifications to the roll. There's a -1 if I'm attempting to shift to good, and I will be trying to do that, so there's a -1 penalty. There is no penalty on the Global War on the Relations track. US prestige possible. So on the track here there are numbers written, so if I am between 7 or 9, then I get a +1 on WoTs. If I'm in this region here, very high, then I get +2. And here is -1, so I am in a place where there's no modification. Okay, and if there are aid markers, then I will get a +1, and if I am adjacent to a good ally, then I get +1. In total, that's a -1. So that means that I will only succeed on a 6, but I'm going to try to do it. I mean, if I'm to win this game, I need some luck. So let's see, can I get a 6? Would you believe that? I cannot get a 6. Well, the last card I have in hand, I choose to discard. Because I don't want that event. Well, after the US phase, this plot will happen. I actually forgot that, so that's not very good. So why do we resolve it now? Well, I should have this card marker, so marking off the cards when the jihadist player plays the first card, the second, and the US will play his card. I choose to discard this one, and this marker goes to the resolve plot box. This is an unblocked plot in a Muslim country. They will gain +1 funding, +2 if the country is good. It's not. If the country has troops, it will be a -1 prestige. Or I will set the prestige to 1 if this is a weapon of mass destruction. I know it's not, because there are no weapons of mass destruction markers in play, or plots in play. So that will be a -1 prestige. If this is a Muslim country, it is. Roll a number or dice equal to the plot's number. Each roll equal to or less than the country's governance level versus governance 1 level towards poor, but not to Islamist rule, and it will remove 1 aid. So this is irrelevant because the governance level is poor already in Afghanistan. So US will take a prestige hit, and the jihadist player is back on 9. Do you believe that? Yeah, so I don't have to peek at this, I just put it back on the track. Then the jihadist player plays his last card. Plot Mastermind. Oh no. I will place an available plot in a non-Islamic ruled country that has a cell. And that is basically all the countries that has a cell. Yeah, where will I place it? I will place it KSM. I place it by normal priorities as much as possible in the US. Then we check if prestige is low, and actually now it is low. We just moved to 3. So then we will check if there is a penalty on the Global War on Relations track, and it's not, because both are at hard. Then we will place the plot in countries that has US posture. Both of these countries, both the UK and Eastern Europe, has that posture, so it will be in one of those. No, there's no way of distinguishing between these countries. So I'm going to roll a die, I think. On a 1 to 3 it's United Kingdom, and it is indeed United Kingdom. And I'm going to take plot number 6, so that's the same. And I place the plot marker in United Kingdom. We also know that unassociated events, they will lead to a major jihad try, or a jihad try. This is not possible. We don't have 5 or more cells than troops anywhere. It's not possible to do a jihad in good fair countries. Remember, jihad is only possible in Muslim countries. Are there cells available? Yep, we will try to recruit, and we will try to recruit actually 3 times because of this card. Because and still the situation hasn't changed in any countries, so it's going to be the country with the highest possible success roll. First, where there is a besieged regime, then most cell plus troops. So Sudan is the target. It's the only country with a besieged regime. No. So if you're unlucky, they will place 3 troops there in Sudan. Ah, gosh. They placed 3 troops in Sudan. Okay, so we can see that we only remove this card if the US is playing it, so it goes back in the discard pile. Well, US player do not have any more cards left, but we still have to resolve this plot. Now we have a plot in a non-Muslim country that is not the US. So we'll add the plot number to funding, but funding is already at maximum, so it's irrelevant. Then we need to roll for posture, and the interesting part here is that if this is a Schengen country, if this is a Schengen country, it is, then the jihadist selects 2 other Schengen countries and rolls their posture. We don't have to look at this plot marker, I'll just put it back. I need to roll for posture here in the United Kingdom. I get a 6, so I'm quite lucky there. As you can see, I get a 6, so that's still hard. Nothing has changed. But now the jihadist player can choose two other Schengen countries. So I'm going to roll a die on the... So there's a Schengen table here, but for some reason both the UK and Eastern Europe is missing from this table. So I'm going to follow the global setting just to simplify it a little bit. It says that 3, 4 or 5 here I need to roll on Schengen, and then there's a separate one for United Kingdom and Eastern Europe. So I'm going to assign, this is number 1 and this is number 2 on the die, and on the roll of 3, 4, 5 and 5 I'm going to roll Schengen. So 6 I'm going to re-roll. So I get a 5. So the first country is going to be in Schengen. And which country in Schengen? 1, that's Scandinavia. Rolling for posture in Scandinavia. 3, that's soft. Then the other country. I get a 5. Again, I roll on the Schengen table. Now I get a 4. And 4 is France. Posture for France. Well, it's actually hard. So we can see Scandinavia has gotten a soft marker and France has gotten a hard marker. So let's see, in the world now we have Israel, which is 1, 2, 3. We have 4 countries with hard and only 1 with soft. So that should actually be a +3 on the world hard view. Perhaps I did a mistake there previously. It was good that I caught that, because now we go going into end of turn effects. The funding is decreased by 1. No countries are under Islamic rule, so I don't have to take a prestige loss. And now the net world posture is actually 3, and that means that I will actually gain a prestige. Is that confusing? It says here +1 prestige if net world posture is 3 and the same posture as the US. Okay, so then I remove any lapsing events. There are none, of course. Reserves to 0, yeah. And I deal a new hand.